Welcome everyone. Alignment of HR strategy with business strategy. This is what we will be discussing in today's presentation. Remember, it's the alignment of human resource strategy and business strategy. They go hand in hand. The long-held notion that human resources would eventually become a truly a strategic functions is been finally being realized of late. Yes, HR is an integral part of an organizational strategy. HR is an integral part of the business strategy. Without HR, without employee management, nothing can be successful as far as organizations are concerned. So a new kind of professional, I mean to say human resource professional is emerging. What are they managing? They are managing this transform function. Someone who deeply understands not only the talent management processes, but also the organizational strategy and the business model thereof. This is what we will be discussing in this presentation. The HR strategy and the business strategy. Can there be a healthy partnership between them? Becoming a strategic business partner, yes, it is what we are looking into as a knowledge requirement grows around it. Human resource business partner is a force to reckon with, staying on focus on the issue that matters to the business, as in what is the cutting edge technology that we are looking for it. HR can provide that talent at your disposal at an opportune moment and opportune cost. So delivering capabilities that actually makes a real difference is what we are looking around here. Knowledge requirement brings strong technical expertise to the table and an understanding of a company and a strategy, the courage, the conviction for change and to be what your organization wants to be. Develop new skills as needed, understand the data, the financial part of it, the market that you're talking around it. Be a true partner. There's nothing wrong without being a true partner. You need to be a true coach with honesty, with integrity and courage, as the case might be. This is what we say, we keep on saying as far as the knowledge requirement is concerned. Have a strong technical base for yourself. Have the conviction and courage to build up support for your uh, beliefs altogether. You know you need to understand what the organization want. Most importantly, you should understand the fact that what your employees are willing or will be able to deliver. Develop those skills as and when on required. Be a true coach, true partner with conviction, honesty, and integrity. You can go miles ahead in your life. So, as a business partner, knowledge requirement, what are we looking into it? We are looking as on a parameters wise on a day-to-day operation, on a long-term operation, that is strategies and operational basis, on a human resource skills and on the business requirement. What happens it is, let us look at human resource and being strategic part. We are talking about talent planning, talent development, performance measurement. We are talking about executive succession or succession planning, executive compensation or reward management. We are talking about human resource information system or sheets, shared services, acquisition and assessment that comes around it, along with cultural integration. Why cultural integration? Because of the diversity that is present. Now, what happens if we are talking about human resource as an employee with the day-to-day operations? We have seen what happens in the longer term version. It is all about reward management or compensation, benefit, incentive, recruitment, the hiring of staff, the firing of staff, the data reporting, the performance assessment. We are talking about succession planning, the orientation, the training, the development, the relocation, the transfer policies, the fair treatment, you name it and we have it. It is on a day-to-day basis that happens with the operational basis and the human resources. But let us look into the business perspective, because why? Because we are trying to understand or aligning the human resource strategy with the business strategy, and that is what I want to draw between these two things, right? So let us again come up with the long-term strategies with the businesses. It is all about strategic alignment, globalization, organizational effect architecture, enterprise integration, acquisition planning, organization learning, and executive development. This is what we are looking into it. If there are no proper relationships between the board and the general public, things are going to go wrong as far as business is concerned. Similarly, business on a day-to-day operation wise, operation basis, what are we looking into? We should be talking concerned about quality, cost reduction, process re-engineering, customer relationship management, product development, change management, metrics, and the team effectiveness now and then, every moment that we come across with it. And this is what a business partner knowledge requirement is all about it, right? So why do we go across it? We need to understand why should we focused upon it. What are the issues that matters? And I have sorted out the issues one by one. What is keeping the business leaders up at night, burning the midnight oil? What is that is they are crumbling and are not able to find up a solutions to it? What is that elephant on the table or elephant on the room regarding the future? If there are understanding that this certain thing is bothering them, but nobody is pronouncing it from their own mouth. Why so? What drives the bottom line? Changing how to spend your time, not getting pulled up or probably pushed in an old HR box, as the case might be. Let us proceed. And let us focus on the business objective, the structured activities around key business objective that we keep on saying around. Focus on the environment, scenario planning, on the workforce issues to anticipate the changes in the environment. Focus on the core values. Ensure that the core values are embedded in the key HR elements. Example, hiring, job requirements, and reward, as the case might be. This is what we look into it. Focus on the business objective, focus on the environment, and focus on core values. Ensure the core values are embedded in key elements, hiring, job requirements, and so on and so forth. So we need to focus clearly on the business aspects of it and keeping the environment the relevant in your mind. Should we cultivate or should we manicure the values that is required? Again, coming back to the same thing, what is happening out here? You look into it, this is a crisscross process that comes around it on a day-to-day business. It's a balance between human resources and the business partners, right? So it is an operation, it's a day-to-day, but from here it comes to the longer term HR functions. That is what we are looking into. A strategic functions about goes around here, and that is can look into transform the business altogether. So what is making the show? Who is making the show? Is it the HR generalist or HR specialist, or is it the strategic business partner? If you do not come across it, you will not learn anything approximately, because if there are any blockages, that means what is missing. There is HR generalist, but the business partner, the human resource business partners goes up for a toss, and probably this does not take place. The transformation, the smooth functioning doesn't happen actually, and that is going to impede your growth of your business, impede your growth of your employees, demotivate them altogether, and probably make your business a defunct one in no course of time. So that is what we are looking into it. We should, what I reckon is we should have an HR planning. Human resource planning is a process that identifies current and future human resources needs for an organization to achieve its goal. Human resource planning should serve as a link between human resource management and overall strategic plan of an organization, as the case might be. This is what we are talking. Approaches to merging strategic and HR planning, afterthought and add-on, isolate, and integration, as the case might be. If you look into that afterthought, if you need to understand how it is going to marry the goals of the businesses vis-a-vis the human resources or the employee that we are planning it out. So how do we go with the onboarding process? How do we create cutting edge theories, camaraderie among the team members, and probably enhance our reputation in the long process? So we will talk about this in everything in details. As an afterthought, it is all about business planning with an HR practice considered as an afterthought. Is an integration. Right now there is a synthesis between what kind of employee and what kind of business are we going to go around it. As a result, nowadays a majority of the cost will be your employees cost. To be successful, you need, if you give peanuts you will only get monkeys, right? And that is what we keep on saying. You need quality manpower, you will have to pay quality perks, quality incentive, quality wages, quality salaries, and we cannot work in an isolation. The focus is on HR practice and how the HR functions can add value, or should I say wings, to the business altogether. Approaches to merging strategies and HR planning, this is what we look into it. If we don't give an afterthought, if we don't integrate, and if we don't merge with future in mind, with we don't things on a longer time scale, on a longer horizon, things are going to go not in your way. But once you have done it, nobody can stop you from organization from reaching the pinnacle of success, as the case might be. This is what we are talking about here. So the outcome is a summary of HR functions, as the case might be. Practice requires to accomplish a business. The integration would be an outcome is a plan that highlights the HR practices that are priorities for accomplishing a business's result. And then there is an isolation. The outcome is an agenda of HR functions that includes the priorities of the HR functions thereby. This is what we need to understand every now and then. So let us come forward and make a conscious effort to integrate human resources and business planning thereof. It is a foundation of assessing and understanding the current and future needs of an organization. It is important building block in continuously improving and building the human capacity of the organization to deliver services to our clients. It identifies optimal strategies, optimal activities for important HR management components as recruitment, for retention, for learning and development, for engaging employees, promotion, succession, and employment equity, as the case might be. This is what we are striving for to all in the long run. That is what we are looking forward to. Yes. So how do we integrate it? It should be integrated at all levels, come what may. It need not be done only at supervisory scale or supervisory level or at managerial level or at the board level. It should be done as on when on basis at all levels. The information should not be exclusive to a person, a group of people, and so on. So it should be transient to everybody in the employee in the organization. Why? This will help us in identifying risk. This will help us in identifying challenges. It is your transparent, value-based, well communication strategy that will actually play dividends. Planning efforts are monitored, measures, and evaluated, as the case might be. Let me take you to the 5 steps and wind up this particular presentation. Step number one is all of perspective. You know how to integrate human resource and business processes. This is the 5 steps. So determine your business goal, and I will talk to it. Step number two, you should be scanning the environment. What is the threat? What are the opportunities? What is good in you and what are you weak at? Step number three is identify the gap. If you can identify the gap, in fact, half your battle is won. Now you just have to fill the gap. So conduct a gap analysis. Step number four is all about priorities, setting HR priorities to achieve the requisite business goal. And the last step is of performances, measure, monitor, and report on the progresses as a time being that happens to you. So let us visit all these 5 steps in detail and finish this particular presentation as far as the integration of HR strategy and business strategy is concerned. So it's the first step is perspective. That is what we are looking at. So what is your organization ongoing HR policies are all about? What is the business that you are engaging around it? Can you identify? Can you draw some linkages out there? What are the key nodal points which needs to be attended to? What are the emerging directions? How the business is going to take shape? How will it impact the HR issues? If it has been technology enabled business, if there is headcount to be increased or headcount is to be reduced, or the quality of the headcount has to be shifted altogether. You need to understand these are your emerging directions. Have all necessary strategic partnership been established? Have you looked for it? Is there a proper succession planning? Have you looked for the sourcing? How do you plan to evolve your capacity and probably manage them? That is what is your step number one is all about it. Let us come to the step number two. It is all about scanning. Now we are talking about demographic scanning. We are talking about employment characteristic. Employment characteristic comes in the form of age, gender, type. Now we are why people will talk about genders, because now it is all about the neutral gender, the male and the female. How much is the composition that comes around it? Because everybody might be able to go up and work in a different sphere and different aspect accordingly. Some people are good in handling people's skills, some people are good in cognitive abilities. If we can have a well balanced and diversity in the gender basis, it is healthy for the organization. The age is also a factor. Is this a top heavy or a uh, when I say top heavy, it should be people are the median age is around 45 or the median age is around 28 or 29. So you need to go around the median age. Similarly, would be the employment type. Is it as a regular employee, as a permanent employee, as a temporary employee, as an ad hoc employee, as a consultant? What kind of employment that you are looking and generating? We all should be also looking at the training and the learning data, the performance management thereof. We are talking about the internal workforce trends. Example, the vacancy rate that we are looking into it, the turnover rates that comes around it, the internal mobility, the staff mobility, promotions, and the secondment that comes around it. We should be ensuring how to go about it. This is what needs to be done as far as employment is. Information has to be analyzed. Before moving to step, before continuing with it, have you ever considered labor management relations? Have you anticipated the change in the funding levels? Now, where are you sourcing your fund from? Is it from the debt fund, or is it from the equity? Or how do you manage to repay your funds altogether? Changes in the leadership and priorities, the organization restructuring, have you considered them? Corporate culture change, client satisfaction, capacity and quality of information that we are looking around it, the system that we should be taking into consideration, and do you need to upgrade the skills of an employee? Well, there any requirement for training? You need to answer such questions to understand the capacity of your HR, probably whether they are going to meet the future requirement of the organizational goals per se. So we need to shore it. We need to shore it up altogether. Remember the current workforce trends among the competitors. What kind of competitors are working around it? What technology they are building upon it? What are the repository of the skills that they have at their disposal? If you can see and evaluate your competitor workforce, probably it will give you a fair bit of an idea of what where actually you're doing right thing and doing wrong thing. So let us assume that trends clearly, demand and supply of employees in a growing occupation. We should look after the current and projected economic condition. Now, economic condition might go down or might improve over a period of time. Now, where does this comes from? Probably your currency rate will help you out. Probably the price of the crude oil plays an important role. Probably there are other catastrophic geopolitical reasons that might comes come into shape. So you need to understand those conditions. And last but not the least is your technological advancement. If possible, the sources of recruitment who are good enabled technology enabler as the case might be. Let us move to the last three steps of this particular gap analysis. We need what we are doing around it. Remember, we are trying to build a bridge between HR strategy and the business strategy. Step number three is all about gap analysis. Do you foresee a shortage in the skills of the employee? Why? Because there might be a technological changes. Will those changes impact or delivery of the program that is required for acquisition of a new skill? Do you want to go about it? If you don't have the requisite repository, can you hire talent from their work? If you cannot hire talent, can you retrain your existing employees, as the case might be? Do you have enough qualified middle managers who can take the mantle of leadership at all? So you have to do this gap analysis. Look for succession planning altogether. Conduct risk assessment on and elements to scan critical law for the organization success. Let's move to the step number four. Probably, yes, this being the penultimate slide for the presentation. It is all about HR priorities. What are the major priorities of HR? What strategies will achieve the requisite outcomes? Work plans may include strategies on recruitment, staffing, retentions. We are talking about organizational design. We should be talking about change management. We are talking about leadership development. We should be looking into performance management, the competency, the skill development. What are they? If there are any lacunae out there, we should try to fill in the gap. Whatever the points I've been trying to tell it to you, you need to understand from the point of view of a gap, point of view of a priority. We should look into compensation, the labor management relationships, as the case might be. How do we come across? Where do we say, what do we do, and how do we move ahead with the values and ethics thereby? Let us come to the last and the finale step of this presentation. Is all about performances. Have clear measurable HR related goals, develop them. HR performance measures should be in aligned with the indicators in the business. Put system in place to track performances, indicators, analyze the cost benefit. Performance indicators should inform your priority setting for the next fiscal year. It should be future oriented in process, so you know what to measure, what to monitor, and what to report the progress. If you have these 5 steps, I am sure there is a parity between your HR strategy and your business strategy. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. I'm sure this particular presentation has helped you to understand what are the importance and what are the role that an HR can play in an overall strategic direction of a business. Thank you for watching the video once again.